Welcome back to our journey into the heart of New France. In our last episode, we learned about Mamberto, chief of the Micmac tribe. Now, in episode 6, the point of no return, we turn our attention to the next generation, the children who were not just visitors, but the true pioneers of a new Canadian identity. We'll focus on their son Guillaume Hébert, a young man whose tragically short life, it was filled with historical firsts that would forever shape the colony's future. Guillaume Hébert was born in Paris in 1614, alongside his twin sister While not born in the New World, they hold a unique place in its history. They were among the first European twins who arrived as toddlers with their parents, Louis and Marie Rollet. His father was the respected apothecary and early settler, and his mother was later known as the first matriarch of New France. He was schooled from an early childhood alongside those indigenous children from the local Micmac tribe. Arriving in Quebec in 1617 as a mere toddler, Guillaume's entire world was shaped not by the bustling streets of early 17th century Paris, but by the rugged, untamed wilderness of the St. Lawrence River Valley. His childhood was spent on his family's farm atop Cape Diamond, the colony's first self-sustaining agricultural enterprise, while his parents were immigrants, wrestling with the memories of a life left behind. Guillaume and his siblings represented something entirely new, the first generation to call this wild land their home. Living on the frontier meant growing up fast, surrounded by the dense forests and the ever-present St. Lawrence River. Guillaume likely learned the ways of the wilderness from a young age, blending his father's French agricultural knowledge with the survival skills of their indigenous neighbors, the Micmac and Montagnais. This hybrid upbringing made him a natural fit for the life of a coudeur des bois, or runner of the woods. These were the intrepid young men who ventured deep into the interior, trading with indigenous nations and expanding the reach of the French fur trade. For Guillaume, this wasn't just a job. It was an extension of the world he had always known. He was part of a generation that felt more at ease in a canoe on a remote river than in a Parisian salon, truly embodying the spirit of what it means to be Canadian. However, Guillaume's most significant contribution to the colony was not made in the forest, but at the altar. In the year 1634, he married Helene Desportes, a union that was far more than a simple personal commitment. It was a foundational event for New France. Their marriage is recognized as one of the first contracted unions between two European colonists in the fledgling settlement, a formal step toward building a stable, self-perpetuating society. This wasn't just a marriage between two people, it was a symbolic merging of the colony's first families. The significance of this union is amplified when we consider Helene's own story. Born in Quebec around 1622, Pierre Desportes and Françoise Helene holds the distinction of being the first known European child born in the colony. Therefore, the marriage of Guillaume Hébert, one of the first European children to be raised in Quebec, Tuel, ne Desportes, the first to be born there, represented a decisive moment. It was the symbolic and literal joining of the two pillars of the colony's future, the children who arrived and the children who were born on its soil. This union solidified the Hébert and Desportes families as the bedrock of Quebec's emerging society, creating a lineage that would stretch for centuries. Tragically, Guillaume's life was cut short. He passed away in 1639 at the young age of 25, a stark reminder of the harsh realities and high mortality rates that defined life in the 17th century colony. His promising future as a leader of his generation was left unfulfilled, yet his legacy was not extinguished. Before his death, he and Helene had a daughter, Marie Hébert. Through her, Guillaume's lineage continued, ensuring his genealogical footprint remained deeply embedded in Quebec's story. Though his time was brief, Guillaume Hébert is alive as a pioneer child, a coureur des bois, and a founding husband and father marked a critical transition. He represented the moment New France stopped being a temporary outpost and truly became a home, built by a generation born of both the old world and the new. Join us next time as we explore the growing pains of the colony and the escalating conflicts that threatened to undo everything the first families had built. The story of New France is far from over. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this in that remarkable early French-Canadian era.